Hey everyone, welcome back to Bono's Tech Stuff. Today we finally get to see the Razer Blade Stealth's gaming benchmarks. This video is going to be similar to my last video that I did about the CPU benchmarks of the Razer Blade Stealth. If you haven't seen it, Razer released a firmware patch that fixed a bug where the Razer Blade Stealth CPU was throttled when it was plugged into power. Before I knew about the patch, I recorded gameplay and gathered frames per second data for League of Legends, CSGO, Dota 2, World of Warcraft, and Heroes of the Storm. I had most of that video edited when I found out about the firmware update. I decided to hold off releasing the video until after I applied the update and got new frames per second data. So in this video, you will see pre-update gameplay and FPS data on the left, and post-update on the right. I grabbed a 120-second sample from each game using Fraps to get the frames per second data. Those are the white numbers. The yellow numbers are the live frames per second of the gameplay. Some of the games I played myself, and other times it's someone else playing. You can tell it's me if the gameplay sucks. If the gameplay is even okay, it's somebody else. League of Legends by far had the best improvements, going from the mid-20s average on low settings to literally 60 frames per second average on very high settings. The buddy of mine that played for me was completely blown away by the difference. According to the data, CSGO didn't improve that much. But to be fair, I was playing against bots in the pre-update, and I was playing in a real game online for the post-update data. Also, don't make fun of me for how bad I am. You're literally watching my first and second times playing CSGO. Dota 2 had a noticeable improvement, from around 40 frames per second average to 60. Both on low settings though. We tried going to medium settings after the update, but we're only getting around 45 frames per second average, so we kept it on low settings for that smooth 60 frames per second. After the update, we played World of Warcraft on fair settings, and we got around 40 FPS average. Then we decided to take it down to low settings, which is what it was at during the pre-update test. When we did, there was a significant jump to 67 frames per second average. Before the update, Heroes of the Storm did not perform very well, and that is very apparent in the data for both the average and the minimum frames per second levels. The average after the update was better than the max was before the update. I don't have pre-update data or gameplay for Starcraft II because it wouldn't even play before I applied the update. After the update, it started out amazing. For the first minute or so, it was over 100 FPS, but as the game continued, it gradually got worse. It seemed like the more characters there were on the map, the lower the frames per second got, which kind of makes sense. So for StarCraft II, we topped off at 103 frames per second and a 62 frames per second average on the lowest settings. That's it for today's video. I hope you found it informative. Feel free to ask any questions down below in the comments, and unless you guys have any ideas for other videos, this will most likely be the last video I make about the Razer Blade Stealth until the Razer Core comes out. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to change that gray thumbs up button blue if you liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.